Alright y'all, so we're back with another tutorial, and this tutorial is just adding to the scales video, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out, or some of this might not make sense. Now we're talking about chords in this tutorial, and a chord is basically a combination of 3 or more pitches sounded simultaneously. So it's basically 3 notes that you're going to hold together, or more depending on the chord, that are going to basically sound good together and work in your scale. So this ties directly to scale. So let's take a look at our scale that we used previously. We'll use D sharp harmonic minor again. And as you can see, these are the notes you can use right here. And this is where you're going to pull your chords from. Now, chords, they're not, you don't have to use them in hip-hop music, but they're actually very popular. If you're going for any kind of melody type sound, you're going to want chords in there. But in hip-hop, you could basically just use the scales tutorial like I showed you and make a whole melody out of that and never even put a chord in there. And it wouldn't actually be a problem since somebody's rapping over it, they're not singing or whatever. So, but chords is basically just a way of being a little more advanced, making the sound a little richer, a little more complex. So let's take a look at this scale right here. Actually, let's take it to FL Studio and I'll show you guys. Now, the easy way to come up with chords, for me at least, is I'll take the root note, which I know is D sharp, and then I know what the keys are of the scale, and I'll just start holding my root note, D sharp, and adding notes to it till I find some that sound like they go together. So these 2 notes obviously go together. So my first chord right there. Okay? And then if I just go 1 up, that actually sounds pretty good too. So that'll be my second chord. And then we can actually go off of this key and try another key. So maybe let's come down here. So we basically have there's another chord, and I'm doing this kind of fast. I mean, I'm very familiar with this scale, as I said before, but it might take you time. But basically just experiment, play the keys like I showed you, play 2 notes at a time or 3 till you find something that sounds good to your ear, and you'll get better at this as you go. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm not a piano teacher, but this is what helped me do it, and I'm pretty proficient with them now, so let's keep working on this. So we have okay, so we're going to take it down basically just by a note. So we're going to have and let's go ahead and add that into our drum track and just kind of show you how that sounds. Now, to really get the melodies and stuff that you kind of hear a lot of producers use these days, now you're going to want to play with your scale and put a melody over top of these chords. So let's jump into the next tutorial and actually do that.